Hey everybody, Hat Creature here. So earlier today, or yesterday, depending when this video comes out, the Q&A from Hellbent Games finally came out about VHS answering a whole bunch of important questions that the community has been asking them for months. What I did was I basically took the most important questions that were answered in the video, and I compiled them here with a rundown of simplified answers for each one. This is a highlight video with none of the footage. So here we go. We're going to start with the most important one besides the beta. The first highlight is what comes out at launch. Well, the launch will have 3 monsters, 3 maps that are tied to those monsters, but of course, since you can play anybody you want, you won't actually see the monster according to that map. The maps are random, as are the monsters. But each map is linked to a monster. And then there are also 5 teenagers and 12 weapons for the teenagers. And we've only seen maybe 6 in all the videos they've shown us. So just think about that. Next is, when's the beta? So, the answer to that is spoons. Anyway, the beta is, there's no date just yet. What they're basically trying to do is, they're trying to make a beta that will hold as many people as they possibly can, but what'll end up happening is that it'll probably hold a very small amount of people. But we don't know what small means to them. Small could be 20 to 50, or it could be 200 to 500. We don't know what small is, and there's no date for it. The website, however, will eventually have a sign-up. So when they're ready, you can sign up for it on their website, and you will be randomly chosen through your email. Unless you're special, because you know damn well that people like Jay or Space Coconut, other YouTubers and streamers will definitely be chosen because they're the ones broadcasting the gameplay footage. Personally, I am much too small of a channel to be that special, so hopefully the RNG gods are smiling upon me so that I can steal the souls of everyone I slaughter. Next up, this is actually pretty minor, but I think this was interesting. Private matches. So private matches won't actually be available in the game for now, but it is coming. We don't know when, but somewhere along the roadmap, because they do have a roadmap that they haven't released yet, but on the roadmap there will be private matches for you and whoever you want to play with, but they won't have player progression. And we'll get into player progression later on. Next up on the highlights, we have currency. Now, there are 3 types of currency. We have Flux, which is in-game currency that you earn. You can spend that on anything, really. Next, we have auras. Auras are character progression currencies. You earn that per character. If you play one character, that character gets aura. If you play another character, that character gets aura for their progression journey. The last currency is fan bucks, and this is the premium currency that you actually do legit pay for. My cat just snuck into my room underneath my door and scared me. You can buy anything with in-game currency, but there's a lot more you can buy with premium currency. This is the only form of monetization there is, and according to them, the only one we'll ever get, because the game is free to play. So next up, on to the actual important things besides those things. My phones are just going off, my apologies. Cosmetics, what about those awesome cosmetics that I was drooling over that we barely got to see? So at launch, there are around 400 free cosmetics you can earn in multiple different ways. And that's without the premium currency. That's nice. Each teenager will have 4 variant outfits. So you'll have the basic outfit, and then you'll have 4 variants to go with it, so you can mix match right at the start of the game. The store, you can buy outfits for both sides. You can buy weapon skins, emotes, a whole bunch of different things. There's also 10 slots for cosmetics. We have head, face, eyes, tops, bottoms, shoes, actual skin, and what they call spectrals, which, as an example, I guess are like particle effects. You know, something that will float around you. That's also a type of cosmetic. Uh, I personally think that's really cool, and I would actually like to see what that is. Next up for customization, there are 5 perk slots. Each perk has a tier with a cost. Now, when you think of cost, you're probably thinking of upgrading it, but what it actually is, the cost of the perk you want to fit into the slot. One could cost 1, one could cost 3. But how many points do you have that you can fit into your perks, right? Similar to Predator or Resident Evil Resistance, where your perks cost points, but you have a maximum. So if you want this perk, but it's too high, you can choose a lower tier of that perk so that it costs less, and you can fit it into your build. This will lead to a large pool of possible builds that they actually said was endless. And you can create these with tiers, for each have their own strength. These strengths and percentages will lead into discussions and tons of content centered entirely around delicious builds that you can make. I'm really excited for those builds. You can mix and match, and you can unlock them for each character, which is really interesting, and we'll be getting into that when we talk about the journey. Next up, weapon mods, or monster mutations. They're basically the same thing. So, whenever you use a weapon, you gain experience with that weapon. The more you use that weapon, the more experience and the more progression and abilities and modifications you can get for that weapon. Also, skins. The more you use a weapon, the more rewarded you are for your favorite weapon. Uh, like legendary skins. Like, ooh, I have a stick. I'm gonna use this stick a lot. Well, I have used this stick a lot. It doesn't look like a normal stick anymore. No, 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 no. It's just glowing with plasma. That's nice because it's my favorite. So mods can also change the effects of the weapon. Some have a bonus with a negative cost, such as you can use it more, but it takes longer to build. Their goal was not to create high-level weapons, but more to create different ways to use weapons without it being specifically stronger. For example, if you're playing like a side-scroller game as like a jet or a starship, and every power-up changes your weapon, you could shoot bouncy lasers, or you could shoot tri-lasers. Both are different playstyles, but aren't actually stronger than the other. That's how the mods and the monster mutations work. Some mods includes shorter build time, use them for longer. It just changes how it works, and that's for weapons and abilities. No actual word on what the real changes to the mods are, but they're all about playstyle and not about strength. And this was so that experienced players wouldn't overshadow newer players. Hold on. Next up, we have the journey, which is the character progression. And so they describe it as nodes. But for those of you who want an actual example, it's kind of like the tome or blood web in games we don't speak about. Basically, your experience in your character allows you to unlock these nodes for perks, perk points, and even exclusive skins, outfits. So the further along you upgrade your character, the more rewards you obtain. The longer you play them, the cooler outfits and abilities you get. Each character leans towards a type of playstyle, and those character-specific perks are discounted compared to normal, general perks. This way, you can easily obtain the class abilities, but still normally play the playstyle you wish to bring to your favorite character. So, if the character you're playing is more geared towards stealth, their stealth perks are discounted. But if you want to play them more aggressively, you can still do that, but they won't be discounted. They'll just be normal priced. All perks are unlockable and seem to be shared across all characters after unlocking them. I'd also like to point out everyone in the Q&A nodded in unison when Zoe said, "Unlock awesome cosmetics." This means everyone on the team is happy and agreeing with each other. That's a good thing. That's great. That's a great sign. Next up, I personally find this to be the most fascinating part of the Q&A. It's not the journey, we just covered that, but this is actually related to the movies. Now, in my video where I was predicting what monsters we could see, I actually went over the trilogies for each teenager, and I predicted what monsters we could see from their movies, saying that those movies could actually bring to new monsters. But what's actually happening is that every teenager has a trilogy, and each one of those VHS movies is actually its own separate thing. Those are challenges. So, for example, I don't like using this game as an example, but in Dead by Daylight, the tome challenges, but each character has their own specific tome with challenges related to their specific trilogy of movies. And every time you unlock one of these challenges and complete one, you get lore and more of the story that goes with their movie. You complete all the challenges for their first movie in the trilogy, and then the second film, and each one of those films has stories, and these stories connect to the characters, but they also connect to monsters. But the characters aren't actually from those movies. Those are just the movies that those characters enjoy watching, and you're playing through them, completing scenes from their favorite movies, basically reenacting those scenes, and then you unlock the stories from that film. Like, each one of these films are fully fleshed out, but you don't actually get to watch them, you get to read them. This is the lore of the game. This is basically the story mode without having a normal story mode. And each character has their own, and that's beautiful. And what's amazing is that it just doesn't stop at the third film. You get the you get the director's cut, which is basically the same movie but different challenges, more complex challenges, and the rewards you get from each one. Eventually you'll be able to get legendary. I keep thinking of that other trash game. Legendary cosmetics. And you earn these cosmetics through completing the challenges from those movies. And every character gets one. Although I don't know if the monsters themselves actually have their own movies. Like, they come from the movies, but I don't know if they actually have their own challenges that they can complete. It might just be the teenagers. But if that's the case, now, this is just speculation, but you might actually be able to unlock monster skins through the trilogies by playing the teenagers. I don't know. That's just my speculation, and that's only if the monsters don't have these sorts of challenges. It wasn't clear if only the teenagers got these challenges. It kind of sounded like it, but have no fear. You can still unlock your own cosmetics for each character through their own journey. There's so much customization, there's so much to unlock, there's so much lore and beautiful storytelling in this indie game that's just coming out of nowhere. And that's it. That's the entire Q&A. Those are the most important questions that I plucked out from them, and highlighted them with hopefully simplified answers. I hope whoever's watching this that didn't watch the Q&A is more excited for the game than before. I know I am. I am just, the more information I get, the more excited I am. I can't wait to play it. I don't even care if I don't get into the beta. I don't care. I just want to play it. Because it's incredible. It has everything I enjoy. Playing both sides is just going to be pure happiness. Like the customization, the challenges, the progression. It all feels good. And I hope it feels good to you. And I hope that when I do get to play it, you'll be there to join me as well. So, with that, I will thank you for being here. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, have a great day.